guys, and welcome to episode 9 of the Wednesday Vidcast, Wednesday-Friday Vidcast. Today is going to be not just talking about the Steelers, but it's also going to be talking about the Cardiff Panthers incident the other day at the NIC with the Jaynen Rissling hit on Evan Mosey. Now, to start off with, we're going to be looking at the Steelers' recruitment in the off-season and maybe why it's sort of got us where we are now. So obviously at the start of the season, Paul Thompson was the head coach of, which was going to be the third season he has been head coach at the Steelers. Fourth season at the Steelers, that he'll have been head coach. Obviously he quit in October, and we never really got going as regards the season, and that's probably where we are now. We never really got going, and it has come back to haunt us really. So we're going to start talking about the recruitment. Obviously, we got rid of so many players in the off-season, it was ridiculous. Players such as Valdix, Fretter, Nelson. Nelson and Fretter are all retired, but at the end of the day, Valdix, Neely. Obviously, Neely's back now. And you look at, obviously, Liam Kirk left to go to America. And you look at that and you just think, wow, we actually had a really good side last year that maybe just didn't want to play under Paul Thompson. Now, had we had that side again this year, we wouldn't be where we are now, for one. We wouldn't be struggling. We'd be near the top, we'd be near like third or fourth, and we'd also not be in the situation we are. So the situation we're obviously in is 10th position in the league, looking to be going nowhere, and we're above the MK Lightning, who are the only team we've actually beaten in the last month. Obviously, we have Guildford, which is I think it's tomorrow, yeah. Tomorrow against Guildford, or today, because obviously the video is released today. It's today against Guildford. We're going away to them. And what I'm going to brush up on around the players' recruitment is, did we look at players' stats, or did we just pick them out from recommendations or videos? So stats and videos are probably better than recommendations, due to the recommendations possibly being biased from the players. So watching videos, looking at stats is a very sort of common thing really for the IHL. There's a lot of sort of data to be seen there. Obviously with the stats, you've got all the plus minus, assists, goals, penalty minutes. You can add it all up, mix that in with a few videos, and you might be able to say, oh yeah, he's a good player, he's a bad player, we don't want him. Obviously with recommendations, you're just hearing the good side of the player and you're not really seeing any videos and stuff. Obviously in the league, we don't have really a scouting network to go out and get better quality. And I saw a tweet on Tuesday, so today, yesterday, about how we get a lot of recommendations in the league and we don't necessarily get first-hand experience of what the player is like. So with that, you get bias again, you get distorted information, sort of blurred information. You can't really see between the lines of a player, but you can also not really see sort of what full potential that they have. And you bring a player in just based on their stats and they're just going to come here and be average. And the tweet was saying the Cardiff Devils, Belfast Giants are all competing with SHL teams at the start of the season. Now, for us to start actually getting back up there, we need to be signing players of quality of the SHL. Now that might be difficult due to wages, because obviously there's salary caps in the Elite League and we can't really expand as much. But to bring a player of good quality in, to bring them in and say, look, yeah, here's our aims, here's what we want you to do. And then if they come in and do it, then, Bob's your uncle, you've got a really good player there. But if they come in and don't do it, then that's the issue. And I do think sometimes we sign players for the name, not necessarily the quality. You saw it with the Panthers the other week. They signed the ex-NHLer who not really played much this season or the season before. He comes in, flop. He just flops. And I think that's probably one of the biggest problems for the Steelers. We sort of sign these bigger names, For example, prime example, Della Rivera. He's played in the league. He's seen what it's like. He obviously played, last time he played in the league was 2 years ago for Glasgow, or obviously Braehead then. But he was used to that standard of elite league hockey, the standard that maybe isn't as good as it is now. And he's come in like, oh yeah, I know this league, I know, what the standard's like. He's got on the ice and he's like, wow, it has improved. And I think that was the problem with Della Rivera. Just an example of a player that maybe, if there was a bit more revision done on him, then maybe he wouldn't have been at the club this season. A player that has adapted well, however, is Brandon Whistle. Brandon Whistle was brought in, genuinely people were shocked when Brandon Whistle was brought into the club, because they couldn't believe it. They knew full well that Jackson Whistle wouldn't have come unless it was for his brother as well. So for him to come as well was like, alright, hats off to the club. They've made someone come here via the sort of family relations. He came in at the start of the season, people pointed out he was a bit overweight, he's a bit unfit. But at the end of the day, he's put honestly, the most amount of effort I've seen from a Steelers player this season. Every game he looks like he wants to play and he wants to be there. Like, if he didn't look like he didn't want to be there, then the coaches just won't have it. And he just plays every game, and all brilliance to him is the fact he got his first point against Manchester the other day. So that's great for the lad. And they're two examples, really, of maybe why the recruitment wasn't so great. So, Della Rivera, Brandon Whistle, Brandon Whistle inexperienced but has proved himself. Della Rivera experienced but hasn't proved himself. And obviously, Della Rivera's now left the club, and Brandon Whistle's definitely one for the future who can improve and certainly become one of the sort of more recognisable Steelers faces. So, next part of the vidcast is the Evan Mosey. Is it Jaynen Rissling hit on Evan Mosey? Obviously, I'm not a Panthers or Devils fan. So I'm going to start this off by saying what I thought of the hit. So I thought the hit was clean. When I first saw it, I thought the hit was clean. But then I watched it back and I'm like, maybe it's not so clean. And then I watched it for the third time, I'm like, I don't think that is clean. Then for the last time I watched it, I was like, that's definitely not clean. Mosey comes off with a huge black eye, and it's just like, oh, wow. That was a hit and a half, it's like straight to the face of Mosey, straight to the head area. It's obviously shoulder to head, so it's just like, what can you do when that happens? And what you can do is you can ban people for 6 games. Now, this is what I'm getting into. Right, 6 games, okay. Colton Fretter, last season, against the Belfast Giants, as if everyone's seen this in the IHL fan. I'll leave a link in the description to the hit, right? Spyro Galakos has checked him from behind into the boards, and Michael Hicks, the referee, hasn't put his arm up, not a penalty. It wasn't a clean check, no one cares, what that linesman says from the NHL. It wasn't a clean check. I'm going to have that with my orange tinted glasses on. But then Fretter, wow. He absolutely pile drived Galakos into the floor. I've never seen anything like it. I had the best view of it. 2-1-3. I'm looking at Fretter because he's down. Then I just see him start sprinting towards Galakos, and I'm like, he's going to check him here. Oh, good God, I felt the ice crack. It was that much of a sort of bad hit. And that's 6 games. That is worth 6 games, right? Like, getting someone from behind, blindside, and hitting them to the ice, that's a definite 6-game ban, right? What's not a 6-game ban is an unavoidable check that's not even that intentional, and it's got someone in the head, right? Yeah, 3 games maybe, but 6 games for that. I've never seen anything like it. Like, seriously, Fretter's was attempted murder. This was a check that is half and half, clean and not clean. So it's in between, Personally, if Mosey's head's gone back and he's then hit the ice, I don't know if the injuries come from that. However, I do think that if the injury wasn't there would have been no ban. And people have said, yeah, maybe it's an unclean hit, that, but there wouldn't have been a ban come from it. And then Ulmer, obviously he gets a 3-game ban. But what I can't understand about this is another an incident similar to this happened earlier this year with Cole Shudder and Brendan Connolly. Now, Connolly shoots at the keeper, then taps his pads or does that, flicks his like helmet, and Cole Shudra sprints on the ice and batters Connolly for touching his keeper. Now, Cole Shudra got banned for 5 games. So why has Ullman not got banned for the same amount if Cole Shudra's done the exact same thing? Leave the bench and fight the perpetrator. I'm just wondering. Like, I don't know if anyone has any idea why, really, but that's what it seems like to me. Is it's just bias. And Devils fans are going to come out and say to me, yeah, but you're just jealous of us. It's not that. It just seems a bit strange, really, how one team's got really punished for it and another team's got just a bit of a slap on the back. And I think that's bad, and it reflects bad on everyone else. Well, I don't know what you guys think of it, so it'd be great to hear your comments on this, because it's obviously one of the more controversial things that's happened in the league recently. And that's it for today's video, so I will see you in a look ahead to this weekend's games. Hopefully we win today, or tomorrow in my case, but hopefully we win against Guildford, because God, could go from bad to worse. So yeah, see you soon.